Well, we are in the middle of tax season and all of those forms, well, they can just be overwhelming. Today, we're getting some advice to help you out as you prepare to file your taxes. Joining us now is financial advisor Kyle Whipple with Custom Wealth Solutions. Good morning.
Morning, Allie. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Looking forward to getting some of those tips. So there were a lot of tax changes in 2021. Can you go over some of them and how they impact people financially?
Yeah, so our tax brackets tend to adjust every year for inflation. So you want to make sure that you're looking at updated tax brackets. I think a few of the things to point out, the child independent care credit is fully refundable for 2021. Probably one of the big ones that people are going to mess up or don't realize. If you've been receiving the advanced child tax credit, that actually comes to each of the couple. So if you're married filing jointly and you have kids and you've been getting those advanced credits, you're going to receive a letter 6419 from the IRS, but each of you are going to receive one. And it has the amount that each of you have to claim. And a lot of people think, well, I just got one, or they didn't know it was coming. So that's important. I'd say another big one, if you receive that third stimulus in March of 2021, just like the last ones, it's not going to be taxable. And if you think that you deserve it or you should have gotten it and you didn't receive it, there's still time with the recovery rebate credit to be able to recapture that.
What are some tips or advice on how to decrease your tax liability?
So decreasing tax liability, you can make contributions to things like an IRA, or you can up your contribution to your 401k. These are all pre-tax vehicles, meaning you put the money in before you pay tax on it, which ultimately comes off of the amount of money that you're taxed on. One of the big things that we look at with that, though, is, when you look at the difference between like a tax preparer and a tax planner, often tax preparation is looking back towards last year saying, all right, well, based on what happened, if you make this, $6,000 contribution if you're under 50, or you can do 7,000 if you're over 50. This is a way to reduce that. One of the questions we want to ask in terms of planning is looking forward. So do we want to take that deduction now? Or is it better to pay taxes because our brackets are a lot lower, and then maybe get that into a tax-free pot moving forward? And that's where I think tax planning can be really important.
So how can we plan on getting the biggest refund or pay less during next year's tax season?
Yeah, so I would say a few things with that. One of the misconceptions that people often have is, well, I got this big tax refund and I look forward to that check every year. But I've also talked to a lot of people who are struggling with cash flow. So if you're struggling with your month-to-month cash flow and you get a big refund at the end of the year, that's probably because they're just giving you back the money that you overpaid. So if you want more money in your pocket on a monthly basis and you've been getting a big refund, one way is you can lower what you're withholding on taxes so more money ends up in your pocket. If that's something you want to do, and I would say the more important thing would be you don't want to owe at the end of the year. And so you want to make sure that you are withholding enough tax so that you don't get hit with a penalty, or you don't owe come April 18th when the tax deadline hits.
So you just mentioned April 18th. I believe that's for both state and federal, correct? Any other deadlines that we need to know about?
Those would be the big ones. And along with that, if you are going to make an IRA contribution or a Roth IRA contribution, that has to be done by that tax deadline as well. Things like Roth conversions, where you can move money out of your taxable IRA into a tax-free Roth, that has to be done by December 31st of the current tax year. So that's something for next year. But where we're at now, those contributions, what you're able to put into the IRA and or Roth every year, have to be done by the tax deadline.
Kyle Whipple from Custom Wealth Solutions. Thanks for being here with us this morning.
Thanks, Allie. Good luck with tax season.
Yes, you know what? I remember the deadline because my mom's birthday is April 18th, so I'll never forget the deadline.